Good morning. Happy hump day. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm excited it's hump day, but today's a busy hump day for me. I have a networking event that I'm going to be at, like a luncheon. It's actually the Davie Cooper City Chamber of Commerce luncheon that it'll be my first event with them. So that's from like 11 to 2. And then I'll probably get Ryan, come home, do whatever computer paperwork I have to do really, really fast, and then I have another event that starts at 5 at Twin Peaks, and that goes from 5 to 9 tonight. So I'm a busy, busy bee. Good morning, Mom. So I've already emptied the dishwasher, started loading the dishwasher. I took out the garbage, emptied all the garbages in the house, took care of the dogs, have a load of laundry in the wash that's about to go into the dryer because Kayla needs jeans for work tonight. Plus I needed to get some laundry done anyways. I was just going to try to put it off till tomorrow or later if I could. Just finished my focus energy that I like to have every morning that gives me that good focus during my workout and it sustains me for the day. And then once I pop this yummy scoop of superfood after my workout, that's my first meal of the day. Once I have that, it adds that sustaining energy for me for the day. So then I checked in really quick to my group just to see how everybody's doing this morning, because I have some people in my group that they work out at like 5 and 5:30, some at 6. I used to work out that early right when I first wake up, but I like to be with the kids in the morning, and when they were getting ready for bed I was doing a few things. Hey Deborah, good morning. So I did all of that. I even got some reading done. I even you could probably be able to tell, good morning Rocky, how excited I am that my cruise is coming up in a few weeks. This is all my boosts. I put it in individual little sandwich bags. So that way when I'm on the cruise and I make my shake, I could just take that and put it in. I have my travel blender. So what I'll do is I'll have my packet of my superfood. I'll empty that packet, then I'll empty the Ziploc bag and be able to make my shake exactly like I like it. The only thing is going to be finding a banana. So one good thing is that we are in a suite. So I will just let the butler know that I need a banana first thing every morning or every evening. I'll tell him every evening so that way it's already there in the morning when I'm done with my workout. So anyways, enough about all of that. So that's everything that I was doing this morning. Good morning, Rocky. Got all of that done. Then I did some reading and I learned a word that I had no idea what that meant. But I'm reading the book Like She Owns the Place. And it's one of my favorite authors, and Kara Alwill. And God, I've read all her books so far, and I love this one just like I love all her other ones. The way she writes, the way she talks, like she drops the F-bomb in her books, which is how I talk. So she doesn't write any differently than how she speaks when you hear her speak. And she talked about rumination, and I was just like, huh? I feel a sneeze coming on. And she first... Okay, that came from my toes. Okay, so she first was explaining something and then explained the word that it meant. And she was saying, like, and I know I do this, so I guess I'm a ruminator. So I was curious to see who else is a ruminator. Do you, after something happens, do you play it over and over and over again in your head, and you like keep going over it, and you're like trying to figure out, you know, did you say something that might have upset that person, or trying to replay, oh man, I should have said this when they said this, or just constantly replaying either conversations or actions that happened or whatnot, because I do that. And what she's talking about, originally, the beginning of the reading that I did today was about always feeling guilty and always feeling bad, or like if you have a conversation with somebody and maybe you lost your cool and you were yelling, or you said something maybe that you wish you could take back or something like that. Oh gosh, okay, we got some more ruminators on here with me. I'm glad I'm not alone. And so when I was first reading, it was more about that guilt, like, and more about being the type of person, which is me, which is crazy that how much alike her and I are, or maybe the old her, and she's going to teach me how to change that. But Like for me, I might have in my mind, like a relaxing day that I'm going to do for myself. I'm going to take the day off of work. I'm going to not do any laundry. I am not going to dive into my email. I'm not going to look at Facebook Messenger. Maybe I'm going to take the day off of social media and just relax, take a break, maybe indulge in some stupid reality TV, and and that's hard for me to do. So for me to do that is almost like a struggle. So, and she was saying in the book, same for her. She had this whole day planned where she was going to have a bubble bath in the morning. She was going to order Chinese food. She was going to pour a glass of wine at 2 o'clock. She was going to watch some Real Housewives. And then her husband was also home. And he decided he was going to organize the closets and organize all the Christmas decorations. And it was very hard for her to sit there and do nothing while he was doing all of that. And she even said, I feel guilty. And a lot of times that guilt is what makes us a ruminator, because maybe we feel bad about what we said, or we feel bad about how we acted, and we just keep playing it over and over and over in our heads, and that's called rumination. And by doing that, we mess ourselves up a little bit, because by doing that, we can never move past something that has happened. I know many, many times I'm replaying things that have happened in my life. Even back from when I was married previously, sometimes something will happen now in my life that'll trigger a memory from that, and then it immediately replays in my mind, almost like it's a DVR up there, and it automatically just clicked play, and that whole scenario replayed in my mind. It's freaking crazy how that happens. And then it brings you back to things, and it brings you back like, maybe that's why that person didn't want to live with me, like things like that. Or, more of the fact of, oh, I wish I would have been a little like this, or I wish I would have stuck up for myself a little bit more. I wish I wouldn't let that person take advantage of me. Whatever it is that's going on and we're replaying in our minds, that's called rumination. So anybody that does that, we are ruminators. And it says in here, have you ever gotten into a fight with your significant other, lost your temper? Maybe you said something you regret. You probably felt bad afterwards. And even though the fight was long over, you continue to think about what you said in the heat of the moment. So you're constantly replaying what happened. Fight might be over. You guys might have made up. Everything's kosher. Everything's good. You got no problems anymore. And yet you can't get it out of your head. It's replaying and replaying and replaying everything that was said from both parties, from you and the other person. So the fight's over. Hey, Milkies. Good morning. So the fight could possibly be over, and you're still replaying it in your head. You're still ruminating it. And then when you do all that rumination and you keep replaying it and you keep replaying it, what ends up happening is then you start to feel guilt. And then you start to feel like shame over your behavior. So say the fight's over, but you're feeling bad because maybe you said something you really didn't mean. It was the heat of the moment, and it was almost like you just wanted to hurt them because you're just done with the fight, right? You say something you don't mean, and then you feel guilty. Then you start to feel ashamed because you're replaying it over and over and over. So all of these negative emotions are boiling up, and it's just, the guilt, the shame of your behavior. So days later, you're still thinking about it. And each day, you get the progression of feeling shameful, feeling bad, feeling horrible about what happened. Every day you feel a little worse. So then before you know it, you have these days where you're just and you don't know why. It's because we're friggin' ruminators, people, and we can't stop playing things that happened over and over again. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys a personal story about this and something that I did. So my brother and I have been estranged now for about 4 years. We don't talk. It was his birthday, like 8 days ago or whatever, and I wished him a happy belated birthday because it was like a day or two after, and I was like, oh shit, it was his birthday. We're so estranged and don't talk that I removed his birthday out of my calendar. So it didn't hit me until a couple days later it was his birthday. So I will still text him for his birthday. We don't talk. That was his decision. There was a lot that went on. There was a lot of actions towards Alex and I that I didn't understand, and I confronted. And I guess they didn't like the confrontation, and we went back and forth for a little while. There were really hurtful things said from him and his wife, and I don't talk to them. We don't get together for the holidays. My son is his godson. He texts him every once in a while. Very, very rare. The only time I see my nephews is when my parents are babysitting them. I make it a point to go over there and say hi to them, to be a little bit of a part of their life. So that part is sad. But for days, guys, okay, it's been like 4 years, but for days, good morning, honey. My honey's on here. He hasn't gotten on live with me for a long time. So, and you guys can ask Alex, or he can attest to this in the comments or whatever, but it constantly replayed in my head, probably for a year or more, on a constant. Maybe not daily, because I was busy with life, so it wasn't always like right there in my head, but it constantly replayed what his wife said, what I said, what my brother said, what I said. I did say one thing that I felt bad for because the way it came out wasn't how I meant it, and I did clear that up with my brother, and I did apologize to him. We did meet face to face. I thought he was meeting because he wanted to be part of my life. He was meeting because he just wanted to fake it for the holidays, and I can't do that. But so it constantly replayed, and I did feel bad for one thing that I said, not for what I said, because I meant what I said. I didn't mean it the way that it came out to how it was interpreted, if that makes any sense. So it constantly replayed in my mind and replayed in my mind. And when he reached out for us to do lunch with the kids together one day and meet up, I was able to tell him in person that I apologized for the way that it came out. This is how I meant that sentence, not the way that it came out, not the way that it was perceived, but this is what I meant, just so he could understand, and so I could feel better that knowing that he knew what I meant. But still, even after that, everything was replayed. I kept rereading the text conversation back and forth. Like, why couldn't they understand? Why didn't they want to fix this? Why was I not important enough? Me and my brother were best friends my whole life. Like, we did everything together. Why did he not care anymore? So all of these things were constantly replayed in my mind. I really can't even believe I'm talking about this right now, because I never was going to talk about this, but I guess it's a part of something that I hold back inside. Hi, Diana. So it's something that constantly replayed in my mind. And I finally had to, and this was not too long ago that I made this decision, that I had to forgive the situation. You hear what I said? I had to forgive the situation. I'm not forgiving them for what they did to me and for not being there for me through all the breast cancer stuff and my surgery and all of that. I'm not forgiving them for their actions, because I still believe their actions were wrong. I'm sure I did things wrong. Everybody's not perfect. But I was willing to talk about the things that were wrong and find a way to move past it, not to sweep it under the rug and just act like everything's hunky-dory, to talk it out and move past it. But other people involved were not. So that never happened. I'm a firm believer that when things are wrong, when things aren't jiving, you have to talk about it so all parties understand, this is how I perceive this is how I perceive this, and this is why I feel hurt. And then that way, if, say they perceive something that I did, not in the way I meant it, now I know how they read me, and now I will make a point to not do that anymore, because I love my brother enough that I don't want him to think I don't want anything to do with him, okay? That's how I saw that. That's why I wanted to communicate. They didn't want to communicate. So that made it hard. It was like left undone. There was no closure. It's like a breakup where you get no say in being able to talk at the end of that breakup. There's no closure. You're just done, and you don't understand, and you still have questions. So you're ruminating all the time. So guys, I ruminated this situation for years. I would put on a happy mask like everything was okay, but back here, it was just the wheels were turning. But then I had to forgive the situation, because I no longer wanted to live in rumination world with that situation. If I'm going to ruminate, I want to ruminate on something that happened yesterday or the day before. I don't want to ruminate on something that happened 4 years ago. It was holding me back from happiness. It was holding me back from just moving on. So what I had to do was I had to really reevaluate people in my life. Are there people around me that are either on my social media or that I see throughout the day that bring up those feelings, that bring up that situation? People that are super close with them. Some of those people I had to remove from my life. Not that I don't love those people, but when I would either talk to those people or see those people, immediately people in that bad situation were brought up in conversation. So once those names were brought up in conversation, I would start ruminating. So I had to do things that would help me through that, would help me not ruminate, would help me not hold back. So the first step was forgiving the situation. Second step was evaluating what was going on, who was surrounding me that was bringing up the ruminations, and I had to release. Some I was sad about. Some I still talk to, I just don't have long conversations with, or I don't see them a lot face to face, or I don't meet them for lunch, or I try to do things to where I'm not in long conversations to where they will be brought up and I will start thinking about it again. But I am proud of myself, because even though I'm bringing it up and talking to you guys about it so you can understand rumination and how we can move past, I'm not ruminating about it. Where normally even them being brought up, my mind's going, and it's not. So you have to forgive the situation. Forgiveness is for us, it's not for the other people. Okay? Let them forgive themselves or let them go through their guilt, but forgiveness is for us so we can move forward. And then from there, it was just kind of like a slow process. I had to block some things on social media so I would not see it. So then that way I wouldn't go back to thinking about it, ruminating about it. I mean, there was a lot of things that went down that if I even told you guys, your jaw would probably drop. But I'm not here to bash anyone in my family. I'm just here to kind of briefly explain one of the things that I ruminated about for a long time. So that was years of rumination. It drains on you guys. It really, I would try to be happy, but I couldn't because I would still think of those things. I would miss seeing my brother around at different events. We were really close. We did runs together. We did obstacle course races together. We had a lot of similar passions that I loved sharing with him. He's my big brother. But sometimes even family aren't best in our circle. Even some family members are not meant to be in our circle. It's the circle of trust. But, a lot of times being a ruminator can be draining. It can be stressful. People don't understand us. They don't understand why maybe we don't look as happy as we should because we have a great life. And that's because it's turning, guys. So here's my call to action for you today. And then I'm going to get out there and kill this 20-minute workout. Today is called Stronger. So the moves are supposed to be slower to build up muscle. And there's a couple bonus workouts to where you can switch them out. So what I decided to do for this week is I'm going to do it without weights and things like that. Next week, I'll do the bonuses where you could switch out so they're a little bit different. I just want to get the moves down this week. But anyways, here's my call to action to you. If you are a ruminator, which I know some of my ladies on here told me they were, just like I am, take those steps. Whatever situation you're ruminating on, and whatever situation keeps replaying in your head, forgive the situation, and then you have to think about what things that are happening in life now are making those situations replay in your head. And then you have to figure out how to stay away from those situations. You have to give it time. It's kind of an out of sight, out of mind type thing. So you have to figure out what are the triggers? What's triggering the reminders? What's triggering your minds to go through everything that happened? Once you figure out the triggers, then you can figure out how to remove those triggers, how to get rid of those triggers so they don't happen anymore. So, to all my ruminators, I know how tough it is. If you want to chat more about this, just message me and we'll chat more. It is a daily struggle. I still do it now. There's situations that happen between Alex and I when we dated, and sometimes something will trigger it and my mind will go with the situation from 6 years ago. So it happens, but we can help it and we can help ourselves so it doesn't hold us back and it doesn't hold us down. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. I'm going to get myself, it's all set up out there. I just got to pick the workout and take the sweatshirt off and all that fun stuff. But I'm gonna go kill 20 minutes and then I'm gonna get started with my day. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I'll see you later. Bye.